This is a special one. I don't normally like to cover these anymore, but I thought that covering this one would be interesting. The reason why I think it would be interesting is for the pure thought that this is synergy. And it's funny because the synergy thing is active at the moment as well. So I wanted to cover this because it's, you know, classic core reverse spouting on the popping up out of nowhere on the weekend. You guys know how these normally work, but it is the synergy. And we were saying if they were to get boosted, I think even if the blue fake cores were to be boosted up a little bit, they would make them, you know, way more, you know, crazier to get, especially the blue fake cores. I am very curious, so I did not look at this yet. I'm very curious to see what Wilkes is bringing to the table because all the other ones have been pretty lackluster. The answer is no, but I'm curious if they're gonna give her anything that's gonna be like, well, maybe I'll, you know, summon on this banner too. So without further ado, skidamarinky dinky do, let's get into it. I'm like mentally scarred to press this button. All right, boom, let's go into it. Let's see what they gave her. Now, the biggest thing that she suffered from was, if you guys remember, do you remember, class? Raise your hands. Is that, you know, with Signature Force coming into the game around the time she was released, she did not have a way to trigger it. And then any character that doesn't have a way to trigger Signature Force is pretty much dead in the water. I don't even think that most of the supports or tanks in this game have like double support skills or something like that. You know, everyone has an attack skill, it has a mana cost, and thus can indulge into Signature Force. He does not. She was just literally a skin, and I think that is problematic when you're just a skin. You don't really add anything to the game. She needs her damage over time skill, her AoE skill, to have a mana cost. That's the only thing that they really needed to do. Like, and that's such a, you would think that that's a weird requirement to give mana cost, but us, we're smart here. We're smart. We know that, you know, that's what we need. So let's scroll down. I'm scared. Passive skill shout out has been added. Nope, they didn't do that. So I feel like just Xing this out because it's probably very likely not anything great that has changed. So you got the superstar, you know, damage over time does more damage. Fan club, you know, and then shout out increases the hit of all allies by 50% at the start of the battle, removed upon successful hit. Oh, who did I say was the worst one? Hold on. Oh yeah, I found it. I said FC Scarlet was the worst fake core ever, literally in the title. But this is after testing her because that was because we all thought that he was gonna have this crazy way of, I think, stacking attack. I think like I forgot. I already forgotten. This has now taken the cake. This is, imagine increasing your hit by all allies 50% at the start of the battle, right? And it gets removed when you actually hit something. Now, but the reason why I'm laughing is because that in most case scenarios, you're going to hit your opponent. Dodging is not as a regular thing as, like, you know, normal that you would assume it to be, right? The other issue with this is that it does actually require some testing, because what if you counter? Like, so, you know, the thing that I would assume that is this is supposed to like be a counter to Rara, right? Let me just check FC Rara really quick. So here's the move I was thinking, right? Reduces the target's accuracy, which is not, God, I just hate so, the things you just gotta hate, because accuracy is not a thing in this game. So to say that it reduces your accuracy when it should say hit is a big problem, but I'm gonna just assume that means hit, right? So it reduces their accuracy and evasion by 100, removing the target takes damage. Now, if this was to be a semi-counter to this, because the issue that I've always had is that she hits your character and then that character pretty much loses a turn if it doesn't have a way to either hit counter, so you counter hit her and then the Wrath proc hits you and then boom, you're free from the nonsense. Or if you have, actually I don't remember, I'm trying to think of like what I was trying to say, but there's really no way to really get around it, because if you don't have a counter or a Wrath proc or anything like that, you pretty much keep that on you. And I think that, okay, that might be a way to counteract that, but the thing is that this is a single target hit, so your whole entire team getting it is virtually useless. I mean, there's no current one-turn strategy in the elos that I'm in and the elos that other people are in that really needs this. Like, it would make sense if you can kill everybody within the first turn. If there's a team that exists like that, I happen to not know it. I feel like everything is still very stally in the game, and like especially with a lot of the characters that have been releasing recently, it's like you're not killing a Talia team or Bathory team within the first turn to kind of warrant that you need that hit. If anything, you need the hit later. If anything, if she would have removed damage immunity, that would have made more sense. You know, like she has a way to circumvent it or something like that to kind of ignore the Leopard Revive, Tantalo passive, and even Awakening passives. She would have been amazing if she did that. But the fact that she just gives you hit, and then when you hit, if that is removed on counter, dude, she's useless. She's damaged goods on a rival. And I mean that seriously, like, cause like if you were to get hit in the first round, you know, by whatever, let's say Dorka outspeeds you, she does her S1 and you counter, and then you lose your increased hit, which was supposed to give you, you know, your big damage skill to make sure that it actually lands. And it's the start of battle, which makes it even worse because it's not the start of every round. Like, the only thing I'm gonna have to look into, let me go look at FC. Zion, him right there. No, it does say for 1 round at the start of the round. So to say that the start of battle, that means you only get it once, which makes it, again, really bad. Like, it really makes it bad. Let me just double check to make sure. Yep, her only damage skill is still 0 mana, so it does not trigger signature force. Oh, but they did add the, see, they said, oh, they changed the skill. Oh, okay, so they did change it, right? I've been talking too much. Skill mana, so it did, yes, they did do it. I didn't scroll down enough, so now it costs 1 mana. Everything I said is a lie. No, but the passive change is still stupid. Also, the overtime buff, which she cleanses, and she also now puts a debuff, decreases block of targets by 15 for 12 turns when it gets hit. So the passive is trash. The whole point of it is that she, you know, at least that she gets her first turn, because she doesn't have any counters or anything like that. She gets her first turn, she can hit you with the mic check 1-2-1-2, and she drops that and increases the block of targets only by 15. Meanwhile, people's blocks are in the 700s, 600s. You know, these awakened units are very high, very high block. I don't think 15 is going to do much of anything. It would have been nice if they just, you know, made her strong. Say it takes off 100 or something like that. Like, really make sure that these characters are not blocking your stuff. But then finally increasing the 1 mana cost is a nice change. Okay, so I guess I still think she's the worst. This was to make her a thought. She's still not viable, but it was at least to make her a thought. This change is just terrible. Like, the fact that they even let off with it, they should have hit this at the bottom in the fine print. That's what they should have did. It's just, and it just scares me, honestly. The reason why I really hate these is because when the game is lacking content and things of that nature, you want things to excite people. So whenever you know, like I said, it kind of does suck that the fake cores, even though they're not new characters, but the game treats them as new characters. But I actually wish the game had more characters, more options, things of that nature, because eventually you're gonna have to overlap the skins. Like, a character like Rachel has 2 skins. Literally, he has his blue fake core, which changes his moveset. Then he has his revenge thing that actually changes his moveset, more of his passive, I should say. And then you kind of have to choose between the 2 that you really want. I have the same issue with Ramji. Ramji has 2 outfits. He has his first Guardian version, and then he has his Awakened version. So you have to choose between the 2. Instead of having, you know, different characters that kind of do the same thing, or, you know, not do the same thing, but are similar-ish, and then it's a different character. So you can kind of like have to build 2 separate fake core skins, you know, with the Muse, with the fusions and all that stuff. Like, that's kind of annoying. I'm not gonna lie to you, kind of annoying. But with that being said, right, with that being said, I am kind of curious on the future of the fake core versus, because I've already said that the fake core system in itself is failing, and I do think that this is making it worse. These small changes, I do like the aspect that when they change a character, that you can then summon for the character if you think that the character is now worthy to be in your party. I do like that. That's how I got FC Luke. you know, I was like, oh, that's really cool. Like, I really like that change. Like, if I do like the change, I have the option to get it. And a lot of gacha games do not do that. So that's something that, you know, again, I've always preached that you give them the good, you give them the bad, and it's good that you can do that. It's actually good, and a lot of people that play the gachas will agree that that is a really good change, because it always sucks when I played Epic 7 and they would change a character, make the character absolutely godlike, and you don't have them. And it's just like, well, I guess I'll just look at it through YouTube or something like that. But, you know, put it on a banner and be like, oh, you know, that character's changed, now you can acquire that character easier. Even if I don't want to go all the way to have her on a rate up banner, I can at least throw, if I wanted to, I'm not, but I could throw like 5 summons at her or something like that, 2-3 summons, see if I can get the character, and then, you know, walk away with my head held up high. But what do you guys think of FC Wilkes? I'm thinking that I'm probably gonna title this the new worst fake core. It's just that they just keep, and the other ones have been pretty bad too. I think that they're just doing these small minor changes, but the problem is that it's an event. You know, like, this is what, you know, what they're putting as an event. It's not more of a patch update, which I think that it would be received better, at least for me, if it was a patch update. Like, these changes were all in a dev note or something like that, and these are the characters, the FCs that they were approving for the month, and then it could have been all these little shenanigans that we've seen, and hell, they could even do it like this banner here. I wouldn't even mind it if it was like a banner like this, and instead of it's called the dev note fake core re-banner. And it's all the characters that would change within the month, and you can pick one that you thought was the best, and then you can summon for it. I don't care, but this, like, this event, call this an event, is ridiculous. It just makes it seem as though there's nothing that they have planned, there's nothing going on in the game, which is currently not. As you can see, this is a dev note about something that's gonna probably be announced on the weekend, not the weekend, sorry, this Wednesday, Thursday, whatever coming up. And then these are the 2 notices. I know that these are actual events, right, because it says event, but this is the only thing that we have interesting happening for an entirety of the week, and it's just not enough. When people look at this, when they first open the game, they're looking to see something very sparkly, very shiny. And, you know, you want people to see that, and you want people to remember, oh, I got to do that this week, core raid, whatever the heck. That's the stuff that you want to kind of have out there, not just these constant, literally just buffs and like, do you want the character? I don't know, it just doesn't sit well with me, especially when I'm playing other games. I'm having a ball, and then I turn this game on to do my dailies. Sometimes I feel like I'll just take a week off. Why don't you post in the comment section below? That's MFO from me. And of course, like, comment, subscribe, and remember that every day at the Kashino is your lucky day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.